Hi everybody, I'm Jeff,
And I'm Linda.
and welcome to another episode of VAPI Fireside Chats. We love doing these videos.
Mm-hmm.
We know some people have been asking, where's the investigations? Do you still investigate? We do. Check out our Gas Grub and Ghost episodes because we've been posting them quite regularly,
Mm-hmm.
and they show that we've been going out to these places. We just haven't got the investigation videos out there, but there's a bunch that are going to come out now that it's summer. I got a little
Right.
time to put them together, and hopefully Linda mentioned we might have a friend that could help us edit some videos, so that'll be cool
Yes.
because we can get a lot more out there to you.
Right.
And we'd love to do that, to get the investigation videos out there. And we tell people when we go to their houses and we record and they let us do videos, we tell them that it's helpful because, for one, it gives people awareness, of course, that we're out there.
Yeah.
And they can call us. They can call us out to their house. We can come and help them. But also it gives people an awareness that you're not alone, that there's a lot of people
Right.
that experience paranormal activity. And so many people say, I don't want to mention it because my neighbors are going to think I'm crazy and
Yeah.
such. And yeah, in some places that might be the case. But in these times, it's become so much more the norm
Right.
that people talk about ghosts and experience paranormal activity that it's almost not paranormal anymore.
I know, that's true. And actually I have something to say along those lines too, is that a lot of people don't actually understand what we do in our personal lives. They don't have any idea of what we've taken on as far as our responsibilities. Now, just to give you a little bit of glimpse into it, we both work full-time jobs. Jeff is a school teacher. I'm a graphic designer at a sign shop. So in addition to that, we've got the normal, household things that we have to take care of, trying to keep the house clean. It's not exactly easy. We have a 12-year-old that is with us 24/7. And she is probably the reason why we haven't been doing as many videos as we would really like to do, because we don't believe in taking her on things that could potentially be dangerous. So we try to make sure that, like, we've started taking her out on investigations that don't seem like they're demonic or anything. And then Jeff is currently in seminary school. So in the evenings, Jeff sits down and he is in sort of an accelerated courses kind of thing where they're packing, like 5-6 months worth of information into 3 weeks. And in addition to that, we've also fallen in love with this random 1925 farmhouse for some reason. We weren't even planning on moving. We fell in love with this farmhouse and we decided that we were going to try to obtain this farmhouse by whatever means necessary. And so we're having to jump through hoops and pray like crazy, because that's what it's going to take, is a lot of small miracles to be able to make this happen. But this is our dream home, and we have to do whatever we can to make it necessary. So we're kind of wrapped up in a lot of different things right now, and that's not even mentioning the Silalakam thing, which we like to go out and we like to camp. We like to do these fireside chats because it's kind of like, that's our thing. Like, we really love to be out by the campfire. We love to be out camping in the western part of the state, in the Appalachians. And so adding that to it, there's so many responsibilities that we have right now. We've probably spread ourselves a little too thin, to tell you the truth. But that is the reason why we haven't been doing quite as many of the videos. It takes time to edit these videos and to make them into a decent quality where we feel like we can put it out there. Some of the places that we've been where we've done these fireside chats have been campgrounds where we have somebody that is probably 40 or 50 feet away from us in the next campsite. So we have to keep our voices down. We don't want to disturb anybody. We don't want to keep them awake. So we've kind of been, toward the camera and whispering a little bit. So some of you may have said, that you can't really hear us. I apologize for that, but it is because we're trying to be as respectful as possible of the people that are in the campsite next to us. So there's a lot going on kind of in the background that most people don't see on these videos. But just to give you a little bit of a glimpse into it, that's what's happening right now. is we are really freaking busy with everything that we've taken on, and hopefully this stuff will kind of work itself out a little bit in the future, and we'll be able to be doing these fireside chats in the backyard of the new house, this beautiful 1925 farmhouse with all of this plaster walls and everything, and be able to do it in a place where, you know, we have the ultimate amount of privacy, and we can speak as loud as we can, and we have the time to actually produce these videos like we'd really like to.
If not, we be happy here, and we can speak pretty loud here.
Right,
So,
exactly. Whatever the case
whatever
is.
it is. It's
Yeah,
fine.
whatever it ends up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we're going to post some questions here. Do you have any viewer questions that we need to put out there? Did we not really get any viewer questions?
I mean, I had a couple of questions. They were not necessarily specific questions.
We want to encourage you to drop some questions down below, because we'd love to respond to your questions, and we'd love to be able to talk about them. And people have come up with some good questions in the past. So definitely, if you have any, drop them down below. We're also contemplating perhaps in the future doing a live fireside chat.
Right.
So look out for that, because we'll post it in advance so you know to tune in and to ask us your questions in real time. And put us on the spot, because that's what we love. I love off the cuffing stuff, if that's a thing.
Yes.
But I'm going to go ahead and ask a question to Linda. She's going to ask a question to me, and we're going to see how we respond. We haven't prepared these questions.
Nope.
We haven't prepped each other.
Yeah, I have no idea what he's about to ask.
It's really on the spot, so I don't know what I'm going to ask either, but I'm about to find out. So, Linda, in the paranormal investigation field,
Right.
okay, everybody that has a job, has a career, there's something that really grinds their gears, to quote Family Guy.
Right.
Right, something that really irks them.
In the paranormal field.
In all their jobs. Like, everyone has something that, a lot of people, at least most people I talk to, there's something about their job that's like, oh, this really grinds my gears.
You're talking about my day job or my night job?
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, people have these things in their jobs and
Right.
in what they do that irks them.
Right.
In the paranormal field,
Yes.
what is it that really grinds your gears?
Orbs.
Really? That was a quick answer? I didn't even finish saying it.
Orbs.
I didn't even finish the question.
Orbs.
That was quick.
I have to say, there was an article that I read, an online article, and it was extremely informative. This was one of those articles that, even not knowing as much about digital photography, like I like photography. I've got a book out there of photography that I published, right? Even not knowing a whole lot about digital photography. There was this article that I read at one point that was talking about orbs, and I wish I really remembered the source of this article, because I would mention it here by all means if I did remember it. But it was an explanation of the reason why you get these orbs, or these what they call artifacts in digital photography. And you know, just as recently as yesterday, I'm on Facebook, and I'm looking at people's comments, people's posts on different groups that I follow, all of these things paranormal, of course. And this one lady is saying, I got this thing that appeared in my video, and you know, this thing was circling around me. I know what other people are going to say. They're going to say that these orbs are not paranormal. I understand, but I really felt like it was spirit, okay? And they say spirit like with this like noun, this proper noun, right?
Oh, I hate that. Like,
it's spirit.
There's got to be an S on the end. It's plural.
No. See, they say this was spirit. It was circling around me as if to say hello.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm like, no, it was a freaking bug. You know, this bug was circling you because it was going to bite your ass, right?
Like, it's either a spirit or it's spirits.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I formulate these questions, like these feverish comments back on this lady, and then I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not going to start this, because if I comment on this Facebook post, then there's going to be all these other comments, and I'm going to be getting these notifications of these comments for the next 5 years. I don't want to do that. So I erase it all.
All the liberals on Facebook.
But what I'm saying is, it's like that's the kind of thing that really irks me, is people are uneducated in a certain aspect of the paranormal, and yet they turn around and they act like they are experts on this. They act like they know exactly what the case is with each individual thing. And Jeff said something good not too long ago. He said, the more research we do into the paranormal, the more questions we end up having. And that's really the case of it. You can't turn around and say, oh, I know that this greenish thing flying through the air was an orb or was a spirit, because it circled around me as if to say hello. Ugh.
So matter of
You know,
fact.
come on, you got to be kidding me. Seriously? Like, be realistic. Let's be realistic. Let's educate ourselves on what exactly causes these artifacts, these light forms, to appear in digital photography. Realize that it is something that is caused by the smaller cameras that we have nowadays. The proximity of the lens to the flash is what causes these things. It's not always a flash, mind you. Sometimes it's an IR light. It's some source of light in proximity to
And
the
that's
lens.
what a lot of people don't understand. Like an IR light, even when you're in
Yes.
night vision,
The
you're
IR
picking up
light
an infrared light, and that
is
infrared
that
light, when you take a
source.
picture, it goes out as a flash.
Exactly.
Yes.
It goes off as a flash. These things are something that, whether you're talking about video or you're talking about photography, these things are something that is very common. If you go back to the old school type of photography where you don't have these small little tiny cameras, you have a big clunky camera, you're going to get far less orbs in this form of photography than you ever do in the ones using modern technology. And the reason being because it all has to do with the proximity of that lens to the light source. If people would actually, get their heads out of their asses and start realizing this, then, we can actually move forward in the paranormal field and start calling, let's call a dog a dog. Let's
Or a
don't
bug a
turn
bug.
around a bug. And let's not turn
Or a
around and
fairy a
say
fairy.
that something is paranormal when it's not. That's putting us back. That's making us take one step forward and three steps back in the paranormal field. And that's one of the things that just irks the crap out of me, because you can't sit there and say that you're contributing to some paranormal research when you're claiming, oh, this is an orb. This is a spirit. It is spirit,
Yeah, because people in the
And
real world are like looking at us and laughing at us. Like, yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
that's
the
not
Asians are
something.
definitely laughing
They
at us because
know.
they created these tiny little cameras that we all use nowadays. And they're
They
like, look at
did.
these fools. They don't understand what they're doing.
Right.
They don't understand any of the stuff that's going on. And it's crazy because, people need to have a better understanding of the equipment that they're working with, of the type of machinery that goes on, of the engineering behind this stuff. And then take that and say, okay, well, let's say this is paranormal, this is not paranormal, and go from there, because we need to make advancements in the paranormal field. We don't need to be set back by people who are ignorant of the true understanding of what is really paranormal and what's not. So, I have a question that's related to Bigfoot that is going to be kind of more toward the fundamentals of Bigfoot, the basic idea behind Bigfoot. All right. Um, People always talk about Bigfoot having a certain diet, their lifestyle, the way that they live, the way that they sustain themselves in nature. But when you think about something as simple as toilet paper in relation to Bigfoot, you have to consider that these are creatures that are living out in the wild. They're still doing the pooping thing like we do, right? But what do you think they use as toilet paper? Do you think that they have something that they use as toilet paper? Do they have the same functions, the same basic functions that we do? And what do you think their Like, do they go in a corner out in the middle of everybody else? Do you think they're private about it, about their toiletry hygiene kind of things? Or do you think that's something that they do out in the middle of everybody else, all the other Bigfoot?
I would assume that Bigfoot is kind of like a dog. And the dog, like some dogs, it's kind of like Bigfoot's like dogs. Some dogs, they don't care. They'll stop right on somebody's front yard and they will take a poop there. Other dogs, like our dog, he won't really want to take a poop in front of you. He seems to come down and look for a good bush to go behind. He'll squat behind that bush and take a poop, and obviously he doesn't use toilet paper. At least we haven't trained him to do that yet.
Right.
Not saying he can't, he just doesn't.
Yes.
I don't think Bigfoot uses anything to wipe. I think Bigfoot just squats and drops and goes on about his business.
But he is covered with supposedly 2 to 3 inch fur. Hair.
So are dogs, though. Like
even his butt. No,
yeah,
dogs aren't covered in 2 to 3 inch.
Some
fur.
dogs are. Like you got those long-haired dogs.
Sure.
You got the Malteses that have those long hairs and everything like that.
Yeah.
And they poop. And the hair just, it's like they poop. And maybe it's a little messy.
Right.
You know, you have long-haired rabbits that poop, and sometimes they get stuck in there and stuff like that. And I'm sure, like, if Bigfoot has long hair around his butt, he probably gets poop stuck in there, and that may explain the smell. That may very well be why they call him the skunk ape, because he's walking around with a poopy butt.
Yeah.
I will say we were up at Hidden Valley one time, and I don't know if I've relayed this story before in a video. I think we might have in that Return to Hidden Valley video, which for some reason went viral. I'm not sure why,
really
because
did,
it was
yeah.
kind of an odd video. But nonetheless, we were looking for our campsite that we had established 6 months prior, out in the middle of nowhere, and we're up the wrong path. And we go up a little bit up this path, probably a 10-minute span. We go up this path. There's nothing there. We have all kinds of lights on and everything, well lit. And we get up a certain amount of way and we say, okay, we're on the wrong path, let's go back. And we come back down and there is a huge pile of poop in this path.
Right.
So something, while we were up this path, probably only about a football field away, came through and pooped. Right in the path that we would be walking down. It didn't go in the woods.
Yes.
It just went right in the middle of this path. And that's bad enough. Like, why would you poop in the middle of a path as it is when there's so many woods around, bushes that you can crouch behind?
Just to spite us.
I think it was to spite us, and I think it was Bigfoot. I think Bigfoot came across, pooped in this path, and said, hey, here's me, but you're never going to find me. I was here. This is my mark.
Right.
And that's what he did. So, you know, you have that. Bigfoot, I don't see them using any toilet paper. Where would they get it from? You know, maybe they use leaves.
Leaves?
They could use leaves because we are talking about an intelligent being here. But at the same time, I think they go back to their rudimentary animal instincts and probably just squat and poop and get on with their lives.
I could see them using leaves on certain bushes and like laurel leaves. Laurel leaves are fairly big.
Not absorbent though.
No, nothing is very absorbent out in the wild. Like if you're using leaves, then you've got to consider not absorbency, but square footage, the bigness of it, because you don't want to get it on your hands, right?
See, I don't see leaves as being a good thing to wipe with because leaves just smear. I think the best thing would be to grab a handful of grass or some ferns and kind of wipe with that.
Yeah.
If they were to use anything. But
I could see that.
If I was Bigfoot, I'd be concerned about my hands because you're wiping with these ferns and you're going to get some on your hands. And then what are you going to do? Just, rinse them in a stream? There's no soap involved there.
No, but there is water. And we don't know what kind of things may be out in the wild that could be used as soap. I mean, right, to us, right, in modern society, we know that soap is made from things like pig fat or some kind of fat, like drained through ashes to create lye, and that creates, you know what I mean? Like there's a whole process behind soap. But how do we know that there's not something out in the wild that actually acts like soap that they could be using?
Yeah, they could kind of use some like sand. It's kind of exfoliating.
Right.
And they put that in the water and rub their hands
That's
together.
true.
And yeah, I mean that could work, but
Yeah.
I don't see Bigfoot wiping. I just don't think that's a thing that they do. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for another edition of the VAPI Fireside Chats. We really hope you'll drop your comments and questions down below. Remember to subscribe and hit a bell. I hear people say that on YouTube, so there must be a bell somewhere around that you can hit. I don't know. Get notified.
Yeah, get notified.
Get notifications.
When we post a
You want to get those
video.
notifications, yeah. But until next time, thank you for watching. Thank you for sitting with us by the campfire. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Linda.
And remember, there's much more to see
in the dark.